so it was giving me the smiles that the Gixxer was giving me, but the Gixxer was doing it between 50 and 150, and this was doing between 20 and 80.
Yeah.
So that's
the important difference.
That was what I wanted.
Let me introduce the bike and the rider ahead of me. Andrew, aka Audace Rider, has very kindly lent me his bike to see what it's like and to see which one out of the two of us is more capable or faster. Now if I were a betting man, I'd start sticking my money on this one and not necessarily on mine. So we have, similarities between the two bikes. It's Italian. It is a transverse V-twin. It is breathtakingly gorgeous. Of course, that is subjective. It's shaft drive. And I think that's about it. The important thing here is actually I genuinely have no frame of reference. I haven't ridden anything like the Harley Fat Bob or an Indian. The closest I can say I've been on, I'm going to say, is the Triumph Bobber. It is a cruiser, but it's nothing like this. I really can see the appeal in these bikes, especially if you can find one that handles as well. And I guess another comparison for this bike is going to be the Ducati Diavel. Logical similarities can be drawn. I'm going to say it's probably going to be fairly similar to something like a Triumph Rocket as well, but again, I don't know how those handle. What I can tell you is that this thing handles very well because Prejudice has accepted it's Italian and they don't tend to compromise on how a bike handles. But really, a little bit of bikini fair on the front there. I am getting a fair amount of wind buffeting, but nothing too dramatic. It's a fairly windy day, although it is one of the hottest days I've ridden in this year. Obviously the bars have got a bit of a rise to them. You've got those big fat inch thick bars in the middle. I tell you, I do want to try. Veloce is sport mode. Now again, I'm going to be fairly ginger and cautious with this, but that is a very nice and very immediate pull. So it's all over, I think, by about 6,500 revs, if I remember correctly from the statistics that I found. Now even saying that, it doesn't feel like it runs out of puff too quickly. Apparently peak torque actually is found at 3,000. So it's got that kind of weighty pull to it. It's quite forgiving with the down changes as well. With most bikes I tend to have to rev match it just to get a smooth shift down. Not really getting that as much with this. Because the throttle is quite soft, you've really got to twist it quite hard just to get that little blip in revs. But I feel like even if I didn't do that, it wouldn't complain too much with me changing down. Real comfortable. Like I say, cruisers aren't the thing I'm most familiar with, so I don't know how to compare that handling to other bikes other than the ones that I've tried. And I have tried some stuff with a slightly more relaxed headstock, relaxed feel to it, but this has a really big wheelbase on it. I like smooth handling. I like it a lot. I don't like being shocked all the time. It could make you a bit more relaxed as a rider. But you're still going to have the poke to catch people on the straight, which is one of the more important things. Lovely stuff. This is the bit where it gets a bit questionable. Oh, okay. There we go. I'm not going to lie, I did worry a little bit. Put my foot down. I'm going to leave it to Andrew to turn it around because I just don't trust myself with a bike this heavy.
Do some photos here.
I can't not. Stick on the Instagram. It's beautiful.
Take me through, actually, quick summary of your previous bikes. What bikes were you on before this one?
Basically, my first ever bike was a 50cc two-stroke Java, which I tuned with my older brother, and we managed to get about 7 brake horsepower from it. It was amazing. It was the best thing ever. I knew that I would like to have a bike, but I wasn't sure what. And then one day, I was waiting for a school bus, and there was a newsagent. I went to a newsagent, and there was a bike on the cover of the magazine, and I liked the looks of the bike so much, I actually bought the magazine,
Okay.
and that was the BMW R1100S. After being in a position where I could have afforded that bike, I started looking, and yes, I managed to get one. It was a great bike. It was supposed to be the bike for life, but sadly got written off. The next bike was a Triumph Daytona 955i 2006. It was my first proper sports bike because it was way more powerful than the BMW.
Yeah.
And suddenly that got nicked. And then after that, I found the GSXR 1000 K4. Then I realized something really bad. I was speeding almost everywhere on the bike because GSXR was just too quick. And third gear, before you know it, you were doing 80, 85, 90.
Yeah.
And as I said, the fun part was between 50 and 150 on the GSXR. Yeah, you could have gone quicker than that, but it was just silly to do those sort of speeds on the road. So I said no. And then I had a cold case. Almost lost my license. Thank God, touch wood, I didn't. And I said, okay, I need to slow down. I'm not going on the track. I'm not using the track to get out the speed out of my system.
Yeah.
So I decided, okay, I want to get a different type of bike. And it was 2016. I was in the Birmingham bike show in NCE, and they had a big Moto Guzzi stand, and I had the Audace. And I just felt like this bike is gorgeous. It's long, it's low, it's dark, it looks mean. Then over a year and a half passed, and I still had the GSXR 1000, and those bikes were nowhere. No second-hand models in any of the dealerships, no private sellers on eBay or Auto Trader or MCN sale, nothing.
Yeah, it's still the same, by the way. I did look before I came out.
And then this bike came up in Colchester, Kawasaki. They were willing to let me go on it because I don't think there was that many phone calls about the bike. Because they were very eager, like, oh, so you want to come down? Like, from where? From Crowley? Yeah. That's a bit of a way, man. I was like, yeah, because I just want to ride that bike. I need to get it out of my system. I need to know, is it worth it or is it just the looks? And within the first roundabout, I was scraping the pegs, and not because they're so low, it's because the bike handles them well.
Do you want to sit on it if you carry your mic? I'll get a shot of you sitting on it. So what's your favourite thing about it? Have you got some sort of key things that you really pick up on?
I think my favourite thing about it is it looks like an old school cruiser. But it actually has the whole array of modern electronics.
Yeah,
and
visually.
The engine has so much character. It's a cliche, but yes, it's an Italian bike and it kind of feels like it has a soul.
It's got the passion, I think they call it.
Yeah, something like that.
Have you got your keys on you?
Yeah.
And table. Do you want to start it up?
So, for a stock can,
I mean, I didn't ask you before. What did you think of this?
really fun.
Yeah.
Because the torque it's got, it's not massive torque, but it's so low down.
Yeah.
It's there when you need
It's comfortable in it, yeah.
It's a very easy to use engine.
Yeah.
You can sort of, to a degree, forget how large this thing is. To a degree. The one thing that would be a shame is if it just kept reminding you that it's big and it's heavy when you were moving. But it's not the case. And as he says, I mean, the reliability should be there. They're not the most advanced in terms of the mechanics of this thing. It's not pushing its thresholds. It's not geared up to be a sports bike. So it's not on that fine line between performance and reliability, which ultimately, hopefully, means that it is quite a reliable bike as well. It's good, and you know, if I was looking for a cruiser, this might be it. This might be the one I'd go for. Each to their own, and as I said with Harry when I went out riding with him recently, test rode his Honda, I just like seeing a bike that fits its owner. And it's different from anything else. I mean, sadly, if you want to buy this, you can't. They don't sell these anymore, or at least not in the UK. They discontinued it in 2016. But there are similarities between this and if you're going for something like the California or the MGX is also similar, but again bigger. It's fully carbon fibre from the outside, at least it looks that way. But again, shares a lot of similarities. I guess more expensive. I think this was rocking about £16,000, which is no small figure, but you're getting a big, seriously capable bike. This is a big boy machine. So as always, the thank yous to you at home for watching, or wherever you are. Maybe you're not at home, I don't know. That was presumptuous of me. To Andrew, or Audace Rider, if you want to find him, check him out, go to his Instagram, have a little look. Lots and lots of photos of this beautiful bike, and a massive thank you to the British weather for staying sunny long enough for us to have a decent ride. Listen to that thing go. Oh, she's a special one.